came to see Cousin Barnabas.
And now you see him.
But you can't be Barnabas.
But I am.
Hello, welcome back to YCFT. It has been a very long time since we've done Dark Shadows. Well, at least a long time since we've been on the channel. It's been a part of our lives quite a bit recently because we've watched a big batch of episodes.
Yes.
We are going from basically episode 280 up to episode 366 today. I kind of only just realised when we were prepping for this, it's actually less than our initial episode. We did like 112 episodes.
Yeah.
But so much more happens.
A lot happens in this chunk.
We're basically going up to the beginning of the 1795 storyline.
So spoilers for anyone who doesn't know Dark Shadows.
I mean,
we go back in time.
Yeah, time. I'm pretty sure we mentioned it in a previous one.
Yeah.
Time travel, which is kind of bonkers to think. It's like that very much places this next to something like a Doctor Who.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Insane.
So where we left off was not long after... Oh yeah. That was a bad click again. I forgot how to click. There we go. Black and white. For a bit.
For a bit.
We are going to make it into the colour.
We make
episodes.
We get there.
Now, the version that we are watching, I believe we got like 2 episodes into the colour ones and then went back to black and white for like 1 or 2. Not every incarnation of the episodes has been saved.
No.
As long as they exist in some form. But one thing we realised when they went to colour, how vibrant the sets and most of Liz's outfits are like yellows and bright greens.
Yeah, like canary yellow.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It was like watching the show for the very first time.
Yeah.
So where we left off was not long after little ghost Sarah has helped Maggie escape Barnabas.
Yes.
She is now in the Eagle Hill asylum, essentially, hospital.
Yeah.
Under the care of Dr. Woodard and Dr. Julia Hoffman, played by Grayson Hall.
Yeah.
She's basically going to be the main character of this batch.
Yes, this is Julia's story.
Yeah.
Arguably Julia's.
Her father, Sam, has been convinced to just fake her death.
Yes,
so that the man who kidnapped her can't come after her.
Yes.
She's also regressed to a very childlike state.
Yeah.
Is basically no help to anybody.
It's annoying after a bit.
It does. How things kind of kick off here is Hoffman introduced Julia to the Collins as a historian.
Yes.
Not a doctor.
Yes.
Because she believes that there is something to do with Collinwood as to what happened to Maggie. At one point, she even tries to take Maggie to the Eagle Hill Cemetery, where she was found at one point, to try and see if that would jog things. That doesn't work. It just kind of scares her. They are interrupted by Vicky and Burke, who are visiting Josette's grave because Vicky thinks it would be nice for her to have a visitor.
Vicky's obsessed with the past.
The past. She has an increasing obsession with the past throughout these episodes, which Liz is increasingly worried about. I don't know why. I suppose it's not her history, but it's history where... I don't know. Liz being worried about things.
Liz just lives to worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we left off, we were also building up to Barnabas having a costume party.
Yeah, we never actually made it to the party in the last batch.
No, we didn't. They were talking about it. We assumed it was something that was going to take a long time to get to, but it was like 2 episodes later or something along those lines. So everyone's wearing period-accurate costumes, including costumes of characters that they'll later be playing when we go back in time.
Yeah, fittingly.
Liz is worried. Oh, no, it's not a good idea.
Not a good idea. We shouldn't live in the past. We should look to the future.
It's like, Liz, you've literally been living in the past for the last 18 years.
Stop being a party pooper, Liz.
To be fair, Liz does leave the house for most of this.
Liz is out and about. Well, there's secrets out, She didn't actually kill Paul.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. So there's no reason for her to be locked in this, mausoleum of the house anymore. Yeah, she's out and about to Boston. She's here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Can't keep her in these days.
So with Maggie being dead, Barnabas needs a new Josette.
Bride.
And he sets his sights on Vicky Winters.
Which actually is more fitting. I think
it
we
is
spoke
a lot
about
more
this
fitting.
in the previous batch, or maybe even before, but temperamentally, in every way, I think Vicky is a better partner for Barnabas.
Yeah.
Maggie's a little bit too feisty. She's a little bit too of a modern.
The only thing she has in common with Josette is that she looks like her.
Yes.
Because she played her.
Maggie is not. I don't mean this in the literal sense. although there's still an argument that maybe, but Maggie is Josette.
Yeah.
In my head, weirdly, Maggie and Barnabas are more of a match, just because I think she was the first one. And obviously it will make more sense as we go back in time. But yes, temperamentally anyway, Vicky, it does make sense why he would be attracted to her.
May I say how lovely you look?
Thank you.
Hello, Collins.
He wants Vicky to dress up as Josette for the party.
Which she's very willing to do.
Yeah, and she wants to bring Burke along with her.
Which Barnabas is less keen on.
What role is he given?
Jeremiah Collins, who was Barnabas's arch enemy in actual.
Was that his brother?
No,
cousin. His cousin.
Yeah.
I think Burke looks just like Jeremiah Collins, don't you?
Very much so.
Well, I must say I feel rather strange. This isn't exactly my style.
Which makes sense. I'm assuming does Burke go on to play that in...
Burke does go on to play Jeremiah, yeah.
That's cool. So the party, they end up having a seance at the party. Roger is really up for it because he's all about ghosts at the moment, but that goes away very quickly.
Yeah, Roger forgets sometimes if he's a believer or a non-believer in this stuff.
Vicky gets possessed by Josette again.
Yeah.
And then it kind of very abruptly ends because Barnabas interrupts it. She sees the ghost of Sarah stood at the top of the stairs.
Yes.
And the party's kind of over. To be honest, I thought it was going to be a bigger event
than what it was.
Than what it ended up being.
Yeah, I think it's... Am I right in saying that's the first time that Vicky is possessed by Josette?
Wasn't she possessed by at the last seance?
Quite possibly. Josette possesses Vicky a lot.
Yeah, but also Josette has been absent for a long while.
She's noticeably absent in this batch of episodes, actually.
And the last batch.
She's,
After Laura, we've not seen her.
Which is interesting. We don't actually have a valid reason why.
I think it's a budgetary reason. There's a reason why Sarah as a ghost looks so different to all the other ghosts.
Yes.
She's solid.
Sarah is corporeal. She looks like a person, which is why when loads of people end up interacting with her, they mistake her for an actual little girl.
Yeah.
Whereas, when you see Josette, that's clearly a ghost because she's transparent. She doesn't linger around for too long.
It's the same shot several times to save money.
Yeah, Josette floats.
Yeah.
Sarah walks.
Plays catch with David.
Yeah, exactly. Has a doll that she likes to give out to people.
To protect them.
So
Barnabas is now obsessed with Vicky, gifts her the music box. If you weren't sick of the Josette music box before this, there are whole episodes of Vicky just being obsessed with it.
I gotta say,
it went on a bit.
It's too much.
Although a lot happens over these span of episodes, we do get a lot of meandering, I think, while they were trying to work out where they wanted to take it.
Yeah.
It's the same like Sarah singing London Bridge. And I think eventually we just ended up getting the music for it, which I think was a bit better than hearing her sing it all the time.
Yeah, the flute.
Julia is posing as a historian.
Yes.
Trying to investigate and...
keep an eye on Maggie.
Keep an eye from Maggie from a distance.
Yeah.
Whilst investigating. She wants to get in with Barnabas in particular because... he's this mysterious figure that obviously not long came to town.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you were looking at this as a case, most likely suspect.
Yes. And
he's very standoffish with her. He doesn't want anyone in the house.
Yeah.
But him and Willie.
Willie.
Look, Willie's great in these episodes. Throughout it, we see their relationship start to strain.
Yeah.
And he starts to disobey him a lot more.
Yes, which will ultimately leads to
something.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil that just
yet.
We are going to... obviously, we are spoiling this show.
Yes.
Julia basically visits him during the day. And finds him in his coffin.
She finds his bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has a little perv.
Which leads to the first time that Barnabas tries to kill her.
As one of many.
Yeah.
Good evening, Barnabas Collins. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
She tells him that she has written a note that if anything happens to her, the note will be published.
Yeah.
Which reveals what he is. We still do not hear the word vampire.
No.
But that starts their interesting
Very interesting
relationship.
Dynamic.
She is fascinated by him. She believes that she can cure him or use his blood to cure all sorts of ailments. But also, the first time she's seen anything like this, and she genuinely believes. I expected this because they included this storyline in the 2012 movie.
Yeah.
This idea of replacing his blood with something else might bring him back to life. So she starts giving him treatments, which start to make him feel a bit weaker.
Yeah.
He wants to be human. He wants to be normal, so that he can have a normal life with Vicky. And I like that for Barnabas. This idea that he hates being a vampire.
The reluctant vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that
they lent a bit more into that this time.
They do. I still don't think we're not at the point in the show where that it embraces that. I think we're leading up to it, but I think 1795 onwards is when we really see like the reluctant vampire. Now Barnabas is still very much in his nefarious evil stage.
He is also his own worst enemy.
Oh, completely.
He overreacts to everything. Literally, he is constantly saying, his first response is, this person must die tonight. Literally, we will hear, Maggie Evans must die tonight. Cousin David must die tonight. Burke Devlin must die tonight. Dr. Woodard must die tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, right, chill.
1 out of 4 is not bad. Maybe.
Yeah. And basically...
Yeah, he does react.
You got a mixture of Willie telling him when it's a bad idea and Julia telling him when Julia is pretty good at reining him in when needs be.
He resents her for it, but she is good at it.
And a lot of times she is right. The event that kind of kickstarts all of this is Maggie escapes.
Maggie, with the help of Sarah, escapes from the hospital.
She still doesn't have her memories.
No.
Sarah kind of breaks her out of the childlike trance, though. So it's like she's an adult again. She just can't remember anything. So she's slowly getting better. So I started noting down episodes.
Well, I can tell you, Maggie escapes from the hospital, episode number 294.
294. That episode ends with her entering the Blue Whale.
Yes.
Barnabas is there.
There.
What a way to end an episode.
Yes. It's great, because also, not just for that confrontation between the two of them, but also, everyone thinks that Maggie is dead. So when she just walks in to the Blue Whale, it is a truly great soap moment.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. I think it's Vicky, the first one that sees her. It's like, Maggie? And yet Barnabas, you can just see it in his face. He instantly turns around and panic.
Oh, yeah. But he can't just run.
Panic. No, he can't.
But he does, in the next episode, he does kind of, like, disappear.
Yes.
But, alright, so that episode then ends.
Great episode.
Episode 295, we were surprised. Because we got a new title sequence. It's slightly more 3D, and it was in colour. And it said, Dark Shadows, now in colour.
Good news, this program, Dark Shadows, is now being presented in colour.
Blew my mind. I was very happy for that. So it's a big turning point in the show. Oh yeah, I can turn off the black and white for about 2 episodes and I'll
then we're back again.
Yeah, we are in colour in this very important moment, but she still doesn't remember Barnabas.
No.
So she's completely blocked. She's scared and she kind of just passes out.
And she passes out, and Barnabas probably cannot believe his luck. His sheer luck. And I think it's he's the one that says, oh, I'll go and get her dad, or I'll call the sheriff, or something. Yeah. He makes a hasty retreat from the scene.
And that's when it's like, Maggie Evans must die tonight. Julia basically properly becomes a doctor again for a bit.
Yes.
And hypnotizer, it's a really cool scene because to Woodard, she does start to remember.
Maggie slowly but surely starts piecing together a few things in her mind.
Yeah.
And she remembers specifically a little tune, like a little instrumental tune.
Yeah.
And we know what she's actually remembering is the sound of the music box.
Yeah.
And that is something that will instantly link her to Barnabas. So yeah, there's little things that are coming back in her mind.
Space! I know that face now. I know it. I know it.
Maggie, don't say another word.
So Julia hypnotizes her.
She does.
To forget, and she doesn't remember. She was literally on the cusp of telling Woodard.
Yes.
Because it was right there. And then the last thing she can remember is the day that she went missing. Apparently this all happened over like 4 weeks.
Yeah, wibbly wobbly timey wimey again. The show can't seem to get its story straight. Yeah, In the timeline of the show, Maggie was only missing for shy of a month, which is ludicrous.
That is absolutely ludicrous.
It was so much more than that. It was at least like 2 or 3 months at best. But yes, that decision for Julia to hypnotise Maggie and ensure that Maggie will not spill the beans as to what happened says a lot about our Dr. Julia Hoffman.
But it also does save her.
It does save Maggie's life. It does. And
because Barnabas was ready just to kill her.
Julia is doing it, well, she tells herself she's doing it to save Maggie. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want anyone to die at the hands of Barnabas. But it also says a lot about Julia.
Yeah.
That one decision to keep his secret, I think, really tells us exactly who this woman is.
Maggie's kind of kept under house arrest by Sam and Joe.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see Sam and Joe again.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen them in a little while, and they don't want her going out. You know, she's scared, but this because she can't remember anything that's happened. She wants to go back to work. She wants to start living her life.
Yeah.
It's a very slow process.
Yeah.
But also, she is visited by Sarah, and she can't remember her, and that
hurts Sarah.
That hurts Sarah. And she doesn't know why she can't remember her.
No, I know.
You have to say you don't remember me.
Oh, well, I'm sure I do, Sarah. But you'll have to forgive me just now. My memory isn't what it should be.
I will say, not long after this, Maggie does take a bit of a back step. Obviously, she's had a lot to do in the last story arc. It's the same with Liz, Roger, to an extent, even Carolyn. Up until like towards the end of this video, they take a massive back step. Like Liz and Roger are away in Chicago for ages.
This is.
I miss having those characters around.
I do.
Even Vicky does not even the main character in our own story anymore.
No, not at all. And this is what I was saying earlier, that this batch very much feels like it's Julia's arc.
Yeah.
She is prime and centre throughout all of this. Yeah, other major characters, they do take a backseat. And for the most part, I understand it. You know, soap actors, you can't be paying all your actors when they're not going to appear. You know, that would be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But there are some moments, and we'll get into it, where I do specifically feel the absence of certain characters.
Yeah.
Because Sarah... Yes, Maggie can't remember Sarah. And that kind of paves the way for Sarah to start visiting another character a lot more often. She starts forming a bigger friendship with David. They end up seeing each other quite a lot.
Yeah.
And at this point, most people aren't convinced that Sarah is even real.
They think she's an imaginary friend, but then obviously Vicky, you know what Vicky's like. She'll be so certain of something, then after a while it's like, oh, I guess it wasn't. I guess I didn't see it.
Wishy-washy Vicky.
Yeah.
Wishy Vicky.
I do like Vicky, but...
We love Vicky.
Jesus Christ, she's dumb.
Come on. Come on, Vicky.
So, episode 299 was surprising.
Was it now?
It was when Vicky and Burke kiss.
Oh, I've written that down as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Not my Burke, but...
Yeah.
Overall, I suppose it does make sense they were always close, and we have seen them hanging out a lot.
There's always been the hint of a flirtation between them.
Yeah.
Even going back to like the really early episodes.
Yeah, I do think, again, if we'd had the original actor, they could have played a little bit more between like maybe Vicky's guilt because of Carolyn.
I know you miss Rich Mitchell, Ryan.
I do. I will say I did warm to... What's the name of the actor this time?
Anthony George.
I spend more time... He's still not my Burke, and I'm glad he plays another character when we go back in time as well. Yeah. But it was nice for him to actually have a storyline of his own, which is this. So she doesn't say... He asked her to marry him.
Yeah, that's a big moment.
The interesting thing is she doesn't say yes.
No, she doesn't.
Because David is going a bit off the rails. Well, at least the family thinks he is, because of this whole... Sarah thing and something else that we will get into.
Yes.
It's instantly assumed, because it's the 60s, that she would leave her job and go live with Burke. But she doesn't want to leave David. Yeah. And we have this whole side thing of she finds this house by the sea that she really wants to move into.
Yeah.
Takes
nowhere, by the way.
Yeah, even takes Barnabas to it, and Barnabas finds an old handkerchief of hers. Burke wants to buy it, it's part of the Collins land. Goes to Liz to buy it. Liz is like, oh yes, but it turns out there's some like old thing attached to the will of the original owner that it can't be sold out of the family, so it's a long legal thing. So Liz offers for them to live in Collinwood, but to open up one of the old wings.
Yeah.
Which is, considering the relationship between Burke and the Collins, like Burke is essentially the big villain that never was.
Yeah.
And he always wanted Collinwood.
Yeah.
And now a portion of it is being offered to him freely, and he doesn't want it. And I can understand that.
I understand it.
He wants a home with with Vicky.
Yeah.
But that house by I don't know if I remember reading somewhere, because I remember Vicky talking about a dream of seeing, like, having a dream of a ghost ship. I think that was a storyline they were considering. Literally does not go anywhere.
It doesn't. I don't think we see that house again.
It's a nice looking set, that one.
Yeah.
But Burke wants that to be their family home.
Yeah, which is it's not meant to be. The whole moving into the, Liz offering them a portion of the wing and whatnot. It is a very generous offer. It's one of those examples though where I miss Roger, because he's absent for this. Like, I think this thing is, he's in Boston.
I think he does comment on it.
He comments on it, but I think if the actor was around, they could have really played into that more. Maybe if Roger would have protested a lot. Maybe
if Mitchell was more around, so that those have more of that history.
Yeah, because I think Roger does comment to Liz. He's like, "What are you doing? It's Burke Devlin. I'm not living in my house." And Liz is like, "It's my house. Thank you very much."
God, I miss Liz being around a lot more. So that goes on, like them planning their wedding. They want to get married quite quickly, but it's always that question of
Vicky can't possibly keep her job and be a wife at the same time.
I mean, we never see Vicky doing her job.
Whatever will we do? We don't actually see her doing her job.
So I made notes of 3 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Episode 3 and 11 is David trapped in the crypt.
This is a big thing.
So we see this quite a bit of characters trying to find this hidden room in the crypt.
Yes.
Sarah, this is Sarah's secret room, and takes David there to reveal the empty coffin.
Yes. It wasn't always empty. Someone was in it once. Yeah.
So he hides in it while Barnabas and Willie
go and investigate him. Yeah.
David being David, he can't quite work out who it is.
No.
At first.
He gets trapped in there.
Because he can't work. To be fair to him, I don't think I'd be able to work out to get out. Because the way to get out of the hidden room is like a little stone step that you got to move out the way and turn a handle.
Yeah.
If it's a hidden crypt to hide a vampire, why did they even create a way to get out?
That's a good point.
I mean, it's easy for Sarah.
Good point.
Because then Sarah just kind of ditches him.
Sarah literally just fucks up. We'll get into Sarah a little bit more, because she is a helpful ghost. She's not quite helpful to the extent Josette is, maybe.
Yeah, because Roger and Woodard go to the crypt as well.
Yeah,
is that when David's trapped in it as well?
Yes, I think
it
so.
is.
Yeah,
because Woodard, he's annoyed at Julia for not being very helpful.
Yeah,
and he's getting more and more suspicious.
Woodard, more than all of the others,
because he sees Sarah as well, doesn't he?
He does eventually.
Yeah,
but Woodard is someone that is slowly, at one point slowly, and then ultimately very quickly coming round to the idea that maybe something supernatural is at play here.
Yeah,
he's not willing to ignore, like all of the other characters, Sarah's importance. He keeps coming back to this fact that so many people have seen Sarah, this little girl, there has to be something to it.
Yeah.
And I think he makes the connection. Sarah Collins died as a little girl back in the 1700s.
She gets the doll analysed and it's like, no, this is an old doll. And it looks
It's from the time, it's not a replica.
Yeah. So, episode 312, Barnabas trying to bite Vicky. He appears in her bedroom.
He resists. But ultimately, and Julia's not happy about that.
Very jealous.
Yes.
I guess we'll have to get into that in a little bit.
I think we will, because
I got a really important note for episode 313.
Okay.
The graveyard guy returns.
Laura Stoddard Collins
died by fire. It's no implication on the
we love
plot.
Graveyard guy.
I just love it whenever he appears. I just love the way he speaks.
Are you a Collins?
Roger Collins.
Maybe that's why they were calling me. They knew you were coming. They were warning you to stay away.
Well, I'd be more than happy to oblige.
Wait a minute.
It seems like his whole life is this cemetery.
This cemetery. I'm just warding people away from the cemetery. It's like, people have a right to be there, you know? But he's like, oh no, there's no place for the living.
I just really he's important enough to me that it's literally the only note I have for that episode.
Something else really important could have happened in that episode.
It is not the only note I have for that episode. I am a liar. It's where Louis Edmonds did a very famous mess up of a line, which I believe they ended up working into the past ones. Instead of saying ancestors, he called them incestors.
Several of my my ancestors are buried here. From what I gather, nobody's been in here for about a century. I'd like to look around.
You have to do that now?
Oh, it'll only take a moment.
This is where my ancestors. I like how he passes it off as a joke as well.
Yeah.
Like he knows he messed up, but he kept it going. Emma the Pro.
So there must be. I think there's something they do in the past, like cousins marrying or something along those lines.
Oh, probably.
That's such a great, fuck up.
Yeah.
But he plays it off so well because Louis Edmonds was very good.
Yeah, this is where David's missing at this point, right?
He's still. They're looking for him.
That's
as well.
why they're in the crypt.
David's missing for who knows? Is it a day? Is it a week?
Yeah,
it's a couple of days. And he's like, "Oh, I got lost in the woods." Yeah, right, David.
Sure you did.
But this is where David starts to go a bit off the rails because he starts having dreams.
Yeah.
Of what we know is the basement of the old house
where the coffin is.
I believe it's episode 332. Maybe David finds Barnabas's coffin.
Ah.
So initially, is in the dream. It opens up and he sees him come out, and it's really nicely done. It's Sarah taking him through his dreams to the coffin. To the coffin.
Yeah.
And so now he is horrified.
Yeah.
Of cousin Barnabas. It'd be so much easier if they just say the word vampire, but he's dead. He's dead.
He's dead.
So the family are like, he's lost it again.
Here we go.
Here we go. We'll send him off. Let's send him off to Boston or Chicago with Vicky for a little bit. Is it Boston?
Yeah.
Sarah is very unhelpful, really.
Sarah, we talked about it last time. I really like Sarah, but she's really not helpful. It's like basically all her interactions with David are she appears, he starts asking her questions, she instantly says, "Oh, I have to go now."
Gives her snippets of information.
Yeah. And like David's asking really important questions, need to know information, and Sarah will say something really cryptic like, "Oh, I know how he died." How?
I have to go now.
Well, I'm not sure. I have to go now. It's all you do. All you do is bugger off, Sarah. Yeah, she's really not that helpful.
Episode 322, something really important happens, and it shows Barnabas is too keen.
No, you're lying to me. Nothing I've said has made any impression on you. You still intend to kill Maggie Evans.
Well, if that's true, then nothing you can say will stop me.
For some reason, decides that Maggie now needs to die.
Maggie Evans must die.
Must die tonight.
Yeah.
And Willie decides no. Maggie was nice to him.
Yes.
And obviously he previously saved her from Barnabas, well, obviously, when she was trapped.
Yeah.
And he goes to try and warn her.
He does.
Not realise. How it plays out is Woodard decides to pretend that Maggie is remembered, to lay a bit of a trap. And it basically just worked because Barnabas was going to go and try and kill her. Well, the police were surrounding the house.
Yeah.
Willie,
not realising this,
tries to warn Maggie to get out of town.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Maggie Evans. I might have loved you. I might have spared you.
And he is shot.
Barnabas is coming for you.
Yeah. And the police shoot Willie several times and he is assumed dead for.
He's gunned down.
Yeah. Willie unwittingly saved Barnabas that night. I mean, bullets probably couldn't have killed him, but he absolutely would have revealed himself.
So he ends up in a coma, critical condition.
We can't see his face, so the actor can go off and not be paid.
But the most important thing to stem from that is everybody assumes that Willie must have been Maggie's kidnapper.
And because of Willie's past,
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
We'd like to shout out our groovy members. We appreciate everything you do for this channel and helping us grow. You guys are awesome.
When the police investigate, which obviously makes Barnabas very nervous because he's got his coffin down in the basement, and even they don't like the fact that that's a locked room.
Yeah.
He hides Maggie's mother's ring that Maggie gave to Willie as a sign to try and convince him. Hides it in a candlestick.
Yeah.
And the police find it. That Barnabas is safe.
Done deal. But to be fair to Maggie, she even says, even though of course she can't remember, she's still being hypnotised, when Willie is captured, there's something in her brain that's like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Something doesn't fit.
Well, even the consigns, Vicky especially, is like, just can't believe it.
Can't believe it, yeah.
Because the Willie we have now is not the Willie we started with, literally a different person.
Yeah, it's literally a different person.
Yeah.
But also...
sometimes characters change so much, they change faces.
Interestingly as well, Julia is also very quick to go to the police and say, "Oh, it must have been Willie. Must have been Willie."
Yeah.
You know, ever protecting Barnabas.
Yes.
But Barnabas also does task Julia with something. Because it's not enough for him that Willie is in critical condition and everyone thinks that he's going to die. He's not going to survive. The damage is too much. He asked Julia to kill Willie.
And make certain that Willie doesn't recover.
What?
You heard me. If he starts recovering, you must silence him.
She won't do it.
And she can't do it. She can't and she won't. It's too... Killing someone is one step too far for Julia. She will lie for Barnabas. She will hypnotise people for Barnabas. She will keep a secret, but she will not kill.
Yeah.
At this stage.
So, episode 325, we finally got Sarah's backstory.
Yeah.
So we know that, basically, conveniently, she is a ghost.
Yeah. And interestingly, Sarah appears to pretty much everyone aside from Barnabas.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand why.
Where are you, Sarah? Sarah!
I think she even appears to Julia before Barnabas.
She appears to Julia. She appears to Carolyn.
She's appeared to Willie.
She appears to Willie.
Yeah.
Everyone sees this little girl but him, and he can't understand why his little baby sister won't show herself to him.
Yeah, which we'll
We'll
find
get
out
there.
about that.
We're getting there.
Episode 330, I just have Bat. I think that's the first time we see Barnabas' Bat.
Bat.
It doesn't look good, but I kind of like it. That starts to scare Carolyn, seeing this giant bat, because... Oh yeah, I forgot about our cheap bat. Because that's another thing David keeps saying, there was a bat in his room, which is one of the times that Barnabas wanted to kill him.
There we go. You going to stay up and behave? Yeah.
Maybe. While the bat's covering it, though, we recently purchased a book, The Dark Shadows Daybook by Patrick McGray.
We did. We've only just started reading it.
Yeah, because it mainly says that, for a lot of people as well, Dark Shadows probably starts at the 1795 storyline, so there's a bit leading up to that. Very, very cool book so far. Looking forward to deep diving into that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's like, cousin David must die, and scares him with a bat, then leaves. That's another reason for people to think that David is insane. Carolyn also sees the bat and starts to think, maybe David's not. The last video, we talked about, obviously, Barnabas becoming a massive hit. We recently watched a documentary on Jonathan Frid.
Oh, yeah.
And the man seemed to be beloved, but I think we didn't quite understand just how much of a celebrity he became after the show.
Yeah.
Over here, the idea of a soap star becoming this famous for just the soap, not for things they go on and do afterwards, it's kind of unheard of. I don't know if this ever happened for any other character. We saw footage and pictures of swarms and swarms of people, and when he would do tours and stuff like that, it's I really underestimated how popular he became. And he just seemed to be a lovely man.
He did. No one had a bad word to say about him, which is lovely. He comes across as just a very gentle, warm person that cared very deeply about his career and did take it quite seriously, but didn't really take himself too seriously necessarily. He was always very self-deprecating, very patient, very warm. But yeah, the images of him, in a convertible car, waving to all the fans, hanging out outside the studio. I mean, that's I've seen pictures like that of the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's honestly the idea that could happen to a soap star here in the UK is just, it's unfathomable to me.
You wouldn't see that for David Platt from Coronation Street. I've sat many times in the same pub as him. No one bats an eyelid.
No one gives a toss about it.
I remember we went for some brunch at one point, and there was a Corrie star sat on the table next to us.
It's like soaps. To a certain demographic, I think soaps are very important for people here in England. But no one's gonna wait outside to get a glimpse of someone.
I'm pretty sure we were stood behind a soap star in the queue at Sainsbury's at one point.
Yeah,
I think we were. I'm actually pretty positive we were.
Yeah, I did not ask for her autograph.
No. So, yeah, we just massively underestimated that, and it was really cool. I can't remember what the documentary was actually called, but I'll put up an image of it. It's on Amazon Prime, free to watch. I'd highly recommend it if you're interested in.
It's very good.
Dark Shadows. Just his life seemed to be so interesting.
Yeah, the man never stopped.
Episode 337. Dr. Woodard confronts Barnabas about Sarah's ghost.
This is just around the time that Woodard starts believing more and more that there has to be a connection between Sarah and Barnabas. And I think this is probably around the time that the actor changed over.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I loved the original actor that played Woodard, and I was really sorry to see him go. But the new actor that we don't actually get to spend that much time.
No, because
confronting Barnabas essentially seals his fate.
Yes. All that time Barnabas is saying, such and such must die. He finally does kill somebody.
He kills Dr. Woodard.
But he doesn't... This bothers me because he doesn't kill him in a vampire way.
But with the assistance of Julia.
Yeah. So he confronts about Sarah's ghost. 340, Barnabas transforms into a bat, which I thought was pretty cool. I wanted to make note of there was the biggest boom pole shadow I've seen so far.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I can't remember if it was these series where this batch of episodes where we heard someone putting a fire out.
Oh, I think it was this batch, yeah.
I remember that's also a pretty famous one.
Yeah.
Just got to keep going. Just like the Incestors.
Yeah.
You just got to make it work. Big boom shadow. Love it. In episode 441...
Consider it a dream from which you will never awaken.
Barnabas kills Woodard.
Yeah.
With a lethal injection.
Yes.
For me, I wanted them to, bite, kill, go all Jason Maguire on him.
It's not the first time that Barnabas is killed, but I think it is the first time that we've actually seen the kill. It's not just cut to black.
Yeah.
Or, fade to black or whatever. We actually see it happen. And it happens in a
He has to accept it.
Yeah.
He has to accept that he is about to die.
Yeah. And what is particularly significant about the whole thing is Barnabas drags Julia along with him. Barnabas actually wants Julia to do the deed. I suppose as an act of loyalty. It's a test, I suppose. But again, she's not a killer. She can't quite do it. But she is there for it nevertheless. And she does try and warn Woodard in advance. She does try and tell him, look, keep the secret. Think of what this will do for science. Please let's just carry on with the experiments. Just let things carry on as they are. And he refuses. He just, morally, he cannot condone what's been going on. But what actually clinches the deed itself is Woodard... What does he say specifically? But he says something about Sarah, and he teases Barnabas about it. He says something like, she's appeared to everyone, but she won't appear to you.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? It basically implying you're a monster, and she's ashamed of you.
You dare mention her name to me!
And that's the thing that gets Barnabas to actually inject him.
Yeah.
He uses Sarah against him. It's a really cool moment, and this is a big deal. I mean, not only has Woodard been there from the beginning, he was a character I liked.
It's like the third person to play him now, I believe.
Yeah. I really liked
I really
the main guy that we had. I really liked, but this sends Julia off the rails somewhat. The guilt
and the fear. I think she realised that she can also be disposable because. It's around this time, well, not long beforehand, that she kind of realises that maybe she does have feelings for Barnabas. It's Woodard that points out, oh, mate, I thought you stayed up at that house because...
Yeah.
Because she obviously has stayed there long after, the person who kidnapped Maggie has been captured.
So people who know that she's actually a doctor are like, why are you still here? This case is wrapped up.
I think once it's been pointed out to her, that's when she starts to realise she's actually quite jealous of Vicky. Because she's been bringing Vicky around... the old house when Barnabas is asleep.
Yeah.
Showing her the coffin and then hypnotising her to forget. Basically trying to make her subconsciously
fear Barnabas.
And I'm like, that's interesting.
It's insidious is what it is.
She's like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
She starts to think, why not me?
Yeah.
Why Vicky?
Yeah. What she keeps telling him as well is there are people that will love you for who you are. You don't need to... program someone or brainwash someone into thinking they're Josette. There will be people that will accept you. Basically meaning, I love you. I will accept you for who you are.
Yeah.
It's not enough for him. He wants his Josette.
He does.
And she is not Josette. Again, the moral scrupulousness of this woman, I think is really interesting. This period where the guilt starts eating away at her, which Barnabas plays up wonderfully. We get some fabulous overacting from Grace.
Oh, we do, especially towards the end of this. There's sometimes, as you can tell, we're building up to something happening because we have 2 episodes, which is pretty much just her.
Yeah.
Going mad.
But
overacting, and I love it. We do actually see a new ghost in episode 343.
Yeah, we get Woodard. Barnabas is manipulating Woodard's ghost.
Yeah. Which is a new ability we didn't know he had. He's making her see things.
Haunting her.
After the new ghost, the next big storyline will be episode 345. It annoyed me.
There was a visceral... I know what you're going to say. I've got it written down here. There was a visceral reaction from you when this happened.
Another character dies. Now, Barnabas has been saying he wants to kill. No, It's not Cousin David. No, it's not Maggie Evans. It's Burke Devlin.
Burke Devlin.
And even Sarah warns that something bad is going to happen, so David knows that someone is going to die.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh my god, I've been wanting these two to... Because they're basically battling for Vicky's love. Like when Burke and Vicky kiss for the first time, Barnabas is there. You know, when Vicky takes Burke to the house by the sea, Barnabas is there. He's always there. He's interfering. He's giving her old books. They are in competition. Burke knows this.
And Burke is aware of it. Burke is suspicious of Barnabas as well.
He is, yeah.
He does some background checks on him.
And he can't find anything that lived in the modern day. Even when the police... Burke's really good at getting the police to let him come around and...
yeah, it's just good at doing stuff.
So, Burke goes off on a business trip.
To Brazil.
Planning obviously to get married as soon as they get back. Because obviously he is a businessman. I'm surprised he's stayed in Collinsport as long as he has done.
Yeah.
We haven't seen his hotel room in a long time.
No.
I think that set is well and truly gone. Burke's plane crashes. Burke dies off screen. Nothing to do with Barnabas.
Nope.
Now, I had problems with the recasting. I warmed a bit to this character just because the guy is a good actor.
Yeah.
But now he was having his own storyline with Vicky.
Yes.
I would have loved for him to have a showdown with Barnabas.
The rivalry to amp up a little bit more.
But to kill him off screen, oh my... I remember when I got that book, I flipped it up into an obituary for him and I was like...
Too soon.
Too soon. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, he deserved better.
Just had a copy of a list of passengers on the plane that Burke was on. It was confirmed. The one that crashed in the Amazon jungle.
I know the actor comes back, but it's the character of Burke deserved more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you say.
And then we've got Vicky, like, she literally just cannot accept.
She's kind of in denial, really.
Yeah, because they can't confirm that he is dead. It's like, he is.
I think you kind of described Burke as the villain that never really was.
Yeah.
He's an anti-hero, I think.
Yeah, and I always like
especially the first actor.
I always like when he pops up. He's that outside look at the... Basically, it's what Vicky should be, the outside look at the Collins. Yeah. But she kind of just... Vicky's just Vicky. Burke will point out when things don't make sense or when characters are being...
Yeah.
When characters are just playing wrong.
Yeah.
Or when things are just stupid.
Yeah.
So him dying off screen...
In a totally unrelated incident, has nothing to do with the Collins family, it's nothing to do with Barnabas, it's nothing to do with the love triangle that's going on.
It just happens.
He just dies in a plane crash.
Oh, Barnabas is like, oh.
And you know, like, shit happens. Like, I'm obviously not denying that. But yes, it is very jarring. And also what the show does is, because the plane goes down somewhere near the Amazon, I think, or Brazil, and it takes them a while to find all the bodies. So for a few episodes, I think at the time it would have been, is he alive? I mean, like, did he manage to escape? Did he manage to survive the crash somehow? And that gives Vicky hope. But ultimately, all bodies are accounted for.
Yeah. What it kind of reminded me of, do you ever watch 2 Pints Lager and a Packet of Crisps?
A little bit.
Do you ever see how a main character was killed in it?
No.
He won a vacation, went away, and we get a phone call saying, oh, he was eaten by a shark.
Wow.
Off screen.
Okay.
I think it was maybe a play on Jumping the Shark.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this felt like.
You feel robbed of an experience, I guess. Yeah.
So this makes Barnabas want to excel the treatments.
Yes, because he wants Vicky.
Because now he knows, like, she's a single lady. Oh, I'm ready. And it starts to affect him. He goes to comfort her, and his hand turns old.
Yeah.
And we end an episode with that with just this old man hand. Julia advises against it. And in episode 349, he turns into a complete old man. To be honest, the makeup on him for TV in the 60s was pretty good. I'm getting like some couple of cool conversations where I think it's Vicky's trying to talk to him, but obviously he's staying in his chair, so she got to see a silhouette of him. And this is like his worst fear, and obviously he blames Julie, and she's like, I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned you this was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, the makeup does look really good, though.
And it does lead to him getting his new familiar in episode 350. I've just put Scary Barnabas because we do see a really cool, scary-looking shot.
Just don't ask any questions. Just go now before it's too late.
It's already too late.
because Carolyn finds his coffin.
Yeah, Carolyn has started believing David. She's one of the few family members that also starts thinking, okay, maybe we should listen to this little boy.
Yeah.
Because she also sees Sarah. Sarah shows herself to Carolyn and essentially warns her that, yes, there is something nefarious afoot. And so Carolyn goes to the old house, because that is where David keeps saying that something bad.
Goes down to the basement.
She goes down to the basement, and and Barnabas bites Carolyn.
I wouldn't do anything to hurt my own flesh and blood.
And that brings him back. I say gives him his youth, brings him back to be a middle-aged.
Yeah, revitalises him.
Revitalises him, and Carolyn becomes his new familiar. I love Nancy Barrett as evil Carolyn.
She is really good.
She's wonderful.
I love it when we see actors on the soap able to take on, a slightly... do something different, basically. Something different from the norm.
I don't like Dr. Hoffman. Why should I feel sorry for her? My only loyalty is to you.
Good.
Nancy Barrett, I think, is actually, the more I watch her, one of the more, accomplished of the actors on the show. I think she's definitely one of the best at remembering her lines. She very rarely fluffs anything up. But she's enthralled by Barnabas at this point.
Something slightly incestuous. Incestous about this.
Incestuous, yeah, exactly.
Her being infatuated with her.
Very much so. And it
cousin.
also sets up a new rivalry between Julia and Carolyn as well.
Yeah. It's interesting the difference between Carolyn as a familiar and Willie as a familiar.
Yeah. Both competent in different ways.
Yeah. Carolyn is not going to do all of the handyman stuff that Willie's done. Willie did a great job with the old house.
Yeah.
I still think outside of the opening, the entranceway, the living room, and Juliet's bedroom, I don't think Barnabas is going to touch any of the other rooms.
But Carolyn obviously has the advantage of being in the house.
Yeah, because Julia is now scared.
Yes.
And has a notebook. Barnabas doesn't want anything to do with the experiments now.
Yeah.
Wants her notes destroyed.
Yeah.
Whereas she's like, no, this is a scientific accomplishment. We can make this work. And this basically puts Julia's life at risk.
Yeah.
This is when we get a new character gets introduced.
Yes.
A lawyer. I can't remember the name of him. You said he plays someone in 1795 as well.
He plays a big part in 1795. The actor is called Jerry Lacey.
Yeah. It's weird because he suddenly appears to confront Roger about an injury at the plant. I'm like, what, Roger's been having storylines that we've not seen?
The accident occurred. Well, I'm sure that he's still on salary. Are you sure? Well, I assume. I am not expected to know every detail. If I were you, I would. You aren't me. No.
But the guy instantly gets swept up into the Julia-Carolyn storyline.
Because Julia's like, can you give me a ride into town?
I need to get out of this house.
Hide the notes in her safe. So that leads to Carolyn wanting to flirt with him under Barnabas' orders to try and...
crack the safe to get the notes.
Crack the safe.
It's a whole saga.
it's a whole saga. And this guy's just like...
what the fuck?
What is going on?
He goes from 1 minute believing Julia, then he goes to believing Carolyn, and it's back and forth, back and forth. He doesn't really know who to trust, ultimately.
Yeah, it's just the quest for the notes.
Yeah.
I think she hides them in a clock at one point.
Yeah, and then instantly realises that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You just keep them on you at all times. That's what I would do. I would just keep...
Also, Julia, you do have your own home you could go to.
She does have her own home too, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
But we're ramping up now, because this is the period where Julia is scared.
Yeah.
She knows that Barnabas can kill her. She knows, really, that Barnabas is taunting her with Woodard's ghost. She knows Carolyn is on Barnabas' side, and Carolyn is also taunting her in her own way.
Vicky is slowly starting to accept that Burke might be dead.
That's going on in the background.
One thing I was always very interested about is where does Burke's estate go to? Because he's got no family.
Yeah, we don't know.
He's obviously got... So who would it go to? Obviously he has shareholders, but... I know they're not married, but as his fiancée, would Burke's estate go to her?
I don't know if it... I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. I don't think it's ever going to address it.
No.
Episode 363. Sarah confronts
Barnabas.
Finally.
Yes, here we go. So yeah, she's been doing the rounds, and she finally says hello to her brother. And I think it's because he is going to kill Julia. He's got his hands round Julia's throat. He's very angry with her for a reason I cannot remember. But that is when she appears. And he is delighted to see his little sister. You're like, oh, you've come to me at last, blah-de-blah. And she's angry with him.
She's very angry with him.
She's as angry with him as Sharon Smith, the actress that plays her, can allow. She's like 10 years old. But she is angry with him. She doesn't like the other murders. She's not happy with him.
What's wrong, Sarah?
I'm very, very, very angry.
She basically says you've turned into a bad man.
Yeah.
Not happy with you, big bro.
You've hurt people.
Only when it was necessary.
No, Barnabas. That's not true. I know that's not true.
And he's a bit startled by this. And he says, I just did what I had to do.
I'm saying, no, Barnabas.
Yeah, no. No. You made a choice. You made a choice to do bad things. You need to change. And he is very shaken up by this. And Julia tries to comfort him afterwards. Julia says, maybe you should listen to her. It's not too late.
Sarah says that she will not appear again until he redeems himself.
You see, Barnabas, you must be good, or you'll be punished.
Then punish me, Sarah. Do whatever you want, but stay with me now.
No, I will not stay here. I'll go away and never come back. Never. That will be your punishment.
And as far as I'm aware, I don't think she ever does.
I don't know. We see her in the past.
Yeah,
I don't know if we
past,
see her in ghost form again after that.
It was nice to finally have that confrontation, and it's the first time we see her do something ghostly. She actually fades away.
Yeah.
Not just Batman's it out of the scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really enjoyed that. So we have now down to the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
With Julia just kind of going a little bit mad. And they decide to hold another seance to try and talk to Sarah again.
It's Julia that suggests the seance.
Yeah.
Very interestingly. I think she realises, right, I'm in a corner. I've got Barnabas and I've got Carolyn. It's me versus them at this point. But if we do a seance, and if I could get Sarah to conjure up and, reveal maybe, I don't know actually what her game is. Reveal what Barnabas really is, or I don't really know I can't remember exactly why she wants the seance to happen. But even Barnabas calls her bluff. And he's like, if you do a seance, you know full well who else could maybe appear. Woodard could appear and reveal you as his murderess. And she's like, well, it's a chance I'm going to have to take. So they do a seance.
Roger's back for that one, isn't he? But he doesn't believe in ghosts anymore.
No, but then the next episode he's actually very game for the seance. So Roger just flip-flops all the time.
Who knows? And in this seance, honestly, I would love to know what people's reaction was to this.
I can't find it in the books yet, but I also would love to know what the marketing for this was as well.
We get the lights start to flicker.
Yeah.
We get lightning.
Yeah.
And Vicky gets possessed again.
Of course.
But, actually, Carolyn pretends to be possessed by Sarah.
She does.
Basically saying that, there's nothing happened.
Yeah.
I'm not here. But then suddenly Vicky says, no, she lies.
She lies.
She lies. She lies.
Yeah.
They basically said, I'm not going to appear anymore. I'm sick of this. I've tried.
I'm done with you all. Yeah.
Vicky! Turn on the light! Vicky! Who are you? Where's Vicky?
Yes, who are you?
It's the old house. Barnabas's house. But there's something different about it.
Vicky disappears and another woman is in her place. And Vicky has been sent back in time to 1795.
What a plot twist.
She's swapped places with someone, with the governess at that time, who was on her way to Collinwood to be Sarah's governess.
Yes, they have completely swapped places.
And as far as I know, until Vicky comes back, we do not see the aftermath of this woman being thrust into the future.
No, I think now from episode 366 onwards, we are now in the past for an indefinite amount of time.
I believe it's up to episode 460. It's nearly 100 episodes it's last for.
I don't think at any point in that stretch we go back to 1967. Yeah. And we're in the past now.
And I remember everything I've looked into this. It was a massive risk.
A hell of a risk.
Obviously, we see Sarah alive. We see Barnabas as a human.
Yeah.
We see Liz as, would that be Barnabas' mother?
Naomi Collins.
Yeah. We see Joe playing a completely different character.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he plays like an admiral or something in the Navy.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
A bit of a ladies' man.
But very
which
different.
I find really funny considering he was very gay in real life.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Very gay.
Obviously, we know that Maggie will be Josette. Actually, Josette this time round. And Vicky reacts as you can imagine Vicky would react.
She doesn't do herself any favours.
No. I've got a feeling I'm going to get annoyed at Vicky going forward because I know she's not going to help herself, and I definitely know
she doesn't.
I definitely know the witch trials are a thing.
Yeah.
Going into it, but supposed to be fair, she is shocked, and obviously the old house looks great, vibrant,
very pink,
because the Collinwood is still being constructed at this point.
Yeah, she says the first person she meets when she's thrown back into the past is Barnabas. And of course she recognises him and she's like, oh, Barnabas, what happened? We were doing the seance. And of course he's like, Madam.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting before.
What are you talking about, Barnabas?
I do not know who you are. What are you talking about? And she's like, I just came from Collinwood. I just came from the house. And he's like, well, there is no house. It's still being built.
They kind of assume because there was a crash that she's basically just dealing with the results of...
The governess that was on her way to the estate, I think the horse it threw off or something like that, so there was a crash, and they're assuming she's maybe got a bit of amnesia or something like that. But however, she's clearly dressed as someone from the 1960s.
Yeah, they do comment on it.
Yeah.
Because she comments on how they're dressed, and well, how are you dressed?
You're showing off a bit of leg there, love. You know?
So... I am very curious to see where we go from here.
It was brilliant. It is a bold move.
It is, but it does just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And for a show that usually, especially in the early days, like to build up, like the first seance took fucking forever to get there.
Yeah.
This is like, let's have a seance, next episode. Okay.
Yeah. I would personally love to know if there's anyone watching this that remembers it from the time. Did they market it? Did people know that they were going to do a big thing and go back in time? Or
did it just happen and then they pushed it?
Yeah, because I'm just so curious to know, because it really does come out of nowhere. So I'm just curious, was there anything in the TV guide at the time that was like, oh, you don't want to miss this episode of Dark Shadows, something big is going to happen? I just really want to know. I really want to know, because I think it's a genius move.
Absolutely genius. And I'm excited to go into these next few episodes. And I've really enjoyed this because so much happened.
Really, a lot happened. Again, less than 100 episodes, so much, and there's probably stuff we've left out.
The stuff that we've had to leave out, it's impossible. Yeah. It's not like the Filigree Fountain Pen that went on for 50 episodes, or
nothing will ever be like that.
Or Roger's car crash that went on for forever. This is a couple episodes, move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
it's like they were just throwing everything on the wall. Right, what's going to stick? And now we are well and truly going to be in Barnabas's origin story.
We got Angelique to meet.
I have not met Angelique yet.
We got Angelique, baby. And also, what will be interesting the next time we record, because as I've established, I have seen Dark Shadows in the past up to a point. I trailed off when we were still in the 1795 storyline. So I'm very curious to get to that point where I'm going in blind.
Well, I know you said you watched up to 460. Well, 460 is the end of it. I wonder, did you make it to... That was the next one you were going to watch? I think you made it to... I think you had one more episode left of 1795 when you stopped.
Well, I remember clearly the last episode I watched, before we started watching it together, was during Vicky's witch trials.
God, she will not help herself.
That's where I got up to. So I'm there's going to be a point where my knowledge completely drops off and I'm watching.
And I'm excited because then we'll be watching things... I think there's a lot of episodes you'd forgotten.
Yeah. Well, there's things I'd misremembered as well, like storylines that I thought happened a little bit later on actually happened earlier. Storylines that I thought were separate were actually blended with other storylines. So in a way, it has kind of been like watching it again. Watching it for the first time. But as you say, a lot of people, for a lot of people, 1795 is where Dark Shadows really begins.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating because it feels like we've gone through a lot.
Oh, we really have. The show was heavily evolved. I've just realised the original Dr. Woodard is on this book.
Oh, there he is.
Well, our Dr. Woodard.
That is our Dr. Woodard.
Yeah. And I missed, because, what's the name of the actor who plays Willie again? John Carlin?
John Carlin, yeah.
Who everyone just says is lovely.
Yeah.
I found it recently from a podcast we've been watching. A lot of the time, even if he wasn't working, he'd just hang around in the control room and watch the show being made.
That's lovely. We also learned, that he was really good friends with Jonathan Frid.
Yeah, even though they had completely different personalities, even like right up until the end of his life, they were really good friends, and I love that.
Called him Johnny.
But he's not in 1795, as far as I know.
I truly can't remember.
Yeah,
I truly can't.
It might be a while before we see, but I know Willie's in it till like basically the end, so he has to come out of his coma eventually.
I've missed Willie.
I've missed Willie.
I'm not going to lie, I have missed Willie, but we also know that we see the return of a certain character.
Oh, Thea David!
We see Thea David is back.
I can't wait, because if it plays the card right, and I'm like 99% sure this must happen, Vicky must look at Thea David and panic thinking it's Matthew Morgan.
Yeah.
I want that. I need that.
Oh,
I'll just be happy to see him back. So there's a lot to be excited about in these next like 100 episodes.
This is where Barnabas turns into a vampire.
Yeah. So my plan is for our next video will be the entirety of the 1975 storyline.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do one sooner, depending on like how much there is to talk about just after Barnabas turns.
Yeah, because
we'll see. We'll judge it as we're going.
I feel like it's going to be similar to this in that even though 1795 is like 100 episodes or so, give or take, a lot happens.
Yeah, it might be a bit ambitious to do.
Maybe it's be a two-parter.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
Thanks a lot, guys. I don't even know what I'm going to call this one. I think I thought about calling it Enter Julia Hoffman because it is her storyline, but it almost feels disingenuous because there's so much other stuff in there.
There is, yeah.
I think this sometimes this story arc is called The Search for Barnabas Collins. So I might...
Interesting.
Because everyone is looking for the kidnapper.
But also Barnabas is looking for the cure for vampirism.
Yeah, he's trying to... Who is Barnabas Collins? Is he the man or is he the monster? I guess we're going to find out going forward.
We'll see.
This first time we're going to see... You can see instantly he is very different as a person.
Yes.
As a human man.
Oh yeah, very.
When I said human man, I started thinking about...
Human man.
What we do in the shadows. I am a human man.
Man. Tis I. Daytona.
Oh, that's a video for another day. So, thanks a lot, guys. Who knows when the next one will be? We've got a lot more to watch.
Yeah.
These are a lot of fun.
Yes.
To do.
This is a long-term commitment doing this series.
This one more than the others felt like we had to actually write down notes because so much happened.
Yeah.
So.
Very excited.
Very, very, very excited. So anyone who was around.
Yes, please let me know.
I don't know the age range of our viewership, but anyone who was around in the 60s when this first aired. Even if you watched it in syndication and didn't know anything about the show.
What was your reaction? Yeah.
So I think if I didn't know, I imagine you wouldn't have known.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was coming. I was just, Vicky's possessed again. Here we go. Oh. Okay.
So, thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you next week.